It's Tuesday. Grab your towel. It's the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy book tag. My name is Jim. This is my channel. Books, reading, and stuff. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy book tag was created by Gareth of Books, Songs, and Other Magic. And I've just read his book, The Brown Yelp Gang, which was a lot of fun too. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy started as a BBC Radio 4 programme, and then it became a phenomenally successful book with various sequels, and there was a TV programme, there's been a Hollywood movie. It was quite the phenomenon, particularly in the 1980s. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy begins when Arthur Dent finds that his house or his world is on the pathway of a proposed intergalactic bypass and the Earth will be demolished. He wasn't too happy about that. And the first prompt is demolishing your house. What book would you look for first to save from the demolition? I don't know. I don't particularly collect books. When I came to Georgia 16 years ago, I came with 2 bags, 2 suitcases. That was all, no particular books in them. I've accumulated quite a lot of books, thinking about which I might save. Maybe this one, The Ladybird Book of Motorcars, is not a particularly valuable book. It is valuable to me nostalgically. I had this when I was about 5 years old. This is not the one I had when I was 5 years old. This is another one, but which I got later. And I used to look through the pictures of the cars and try to spot the cars on the road. It gave me a strange sense of how big the cars were, because this is a Volvo Amazon and this is an MG. The pictures make this MG look bigger than this, but this is nowhere near the case. The MG is a small car. The Volvo Amazon's quite a big car for European standards. Another book I might try and save is this. This is an English translation of Nodda Dumbadze's Granny, Illico, Ilaria and I. It didn't cost me much, but I've seen on the internet it's worth quite a bit. And this was a Soviet translation of the story. And so I might try and save that. Or I might try and save my Matchbox catalogues. This is 1969, this is 1970. These were important in Matchbox. I collect these little cars because Matchbox went over from the regular wheels in 1969 to the super fast wheels in 1970 to compete with Hot Wheels. That was too little, too late. Prompt number 2, Vogon Poetry. Vogon Poetry is so terrible it could kill you, but the prompt is: quote a poet, a line of poetry or a lyric that you love. Gareth went with Richard Thompson, a great lyricist. I could go with Richard Thompson or Bruce Springsteen or Patti Smith, Leonard Cohen. There's so many. Townes Van Zandt. But I'll go with Mike Scott of the Waterboys, his famous song The Whole of the Moon. Includes the lines: unicorns and cannonballs, palaces and piers, trumpets, towers and tenements, wide oceans full of tears, flags, rags, ferry boats, scimitars and scarves, every precious dream and vision underneath the stars. And it's just wonderful images conjured up. So I'll go with that. 42. 42. The answer to life, the universe, and everything. What is the point? What is the meaning of life? I don't know. The golden rule is to be nice to everybody, to be kind to everybody. Jesus said, love thy neighbour as thyself. So I guess the meaning of life is just 42. Prompt 4. It's radio beginning. What's your favourite memory in your experiences as a listener to the radio? When I was growing up, the radio was often on in our house. My mother would listen to the radio. She didn't watch much TV, and she would listen to Radio 4, which is where I first heard Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'd be very familiar with hearing the Archer's theme music. I used to listen to some of the comedy shows on there, things like Just a Minute, which was a game show where the contestants had to speak in just a minute without hesitation, deviation, or repetition, which is a very difficult thing to do. I can't do it, as you see. When I'm not scripted, I make lots of repetitions, lots of ums and lots of deviations and hesitations. But it is a very tricky art. But there were people like Kenneth Williams who are very good at this. For my own radio listening, I'd be listening mostly to Radio 1, sometimes to Capital Radio. I'd listen to the Top 40 show on a Sunday afternoon, and I'd also listen in the evenings to people like John Peel or Andy Kershaw or Tommy Vance for the heavy metal. Prompt 5, the towel. What book or books would you pack for a holiday? The last holiday I packed one physical book, this one, to the lighthouse. I also had a photo of myself reading this, or pretending to read this, in the Black Sea. It seemed fitting for a holiday read because it's about a holiday and by the sea. This is published, I think, 1927, which is a long time before, almost 100 years ago. But I take my phone, of course, but on here I've got the Kindle app, and I'll be reading whatever books are on the Kindle, as well as one physical book. I like the feel of a physical book, the tactile experience, but I won't take a lot because I don't like to travel with too many things. Prompt 6, the Infinite Improbability Drive. Name a fast read. I read a lot of psychological thrillers, and most of these are fast reads. One particular fast read was None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. This was recommended to me by Melinda of A Web of Stories. Thank you, Melinda. It's about two women who are celebrating their 45th birthday at the same time. So they meet by chance because they're in the same restaurant, bar, celebrating their birthdays at the same time, and they are the same age, coincidentally. One is a successful podcaster, the other is a nondescript housewife, and the nondescript housewife tries to get in with the podcaster and almost take over her life, and it's a very twisty psychological thriller, and I couldn't put it down. It was very good. Prompt 7, don't panic. What it says on the back of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Don't panic. It's probably why it was such a bestseller. Name a book with great levels of tension or suspense. For this, I'll go with Recursion by Blake Crouch. It's a fast-paced sci-fi thriller that messes with your mind in the best way possible. The story revolves around the idea of false memories and explores how they can reshape reality. There are two main characters. There's Barry, a detective investigating the strange phenomenon of false memory syndrome, and there's Helena, a neuroscientist developing technology to preserve memories, and it's full of tension and suspense. It's a great read. Prompt 8, TV and film adaptations. Pick a book to discuss one or more TV or film adaptations that you know of the book. Pick good and bad if it's relevant to the book. This book, Wuthering Heights, the film adaptations I've seen only show half the book. A lot of people think this is a romance because they see it as the Heathcliff and Cathy romance because they've seen the film. But that's just half the book. There's a second half with the second generation that's not in the films. Finally, tag some people. I'll put some people down in the notes because I saw Gareth had tagged a lot of people. I was tagged by Gareth. I was also tagged by Booklist Pete, and maybe I'll be tagged by a few more before the day is up. If you want to do this tag, consider yourself tagged. I don't want any barriers to anyone who wants to do this tag. It's a fantastic tag, so thank you, Gareth, for creating this. If you enjoyed this video, then give it a thumbs up. This will help me with the YouTube algorithm. The thumbs up is also good for hitchhiking in some countries. In some countries this is rude, so be careful where you're doing it. Check the local customs. I've been hitchhiking like this in UK, in Turkey, in Israel, in Australia, in France with no problems, although I was told in Israel that this could be misconstrued. And I shall see you on the next video. Bye bye. Don't panic.